Hello. In this video, we will discuss where and if statements. Both where and if statements can be used to subset a SAS dataset in a data step, but there exists subtle difference between them. So sometimes the two statements can be used interchangeably, but sometimes so only if statement works, and sometimes only where statement works. And sometimes, so both work, but they will produce different results. So then we will show examples for those different scenarios. So this will help us understand so when to use where and if statements. So let's look at this example. So we just use a dataset so called SAS help.class. So let's run this in SAS prog print. So this is a built-in dataset in SAS. So if we run this one, we can see this is a data contains the name, sex, age, height, and weight for some students in a class, right? So we have 19 observations. So let's look at a simple example. So if we just want to create a subset containing females who are taller than 62 inches. Okay, and we can see, so here, so there are two different ways to write the code. So one uses the if statement and one uses the where statement. So look at the first one. So this is if, so if sex equals f means female, right? And height greater than 62. And so in the second piece of code, almost identical. So the difference is just if is replaced to be where. Okay, and so these two will produce the same results. So we can run that. Okay, so let's just run that. You can see, so this is the first is the subset created by the if statement, and the next one is the subset created by the where statement. So they look identical, right? And so if you check the log window, so see there are 5 observations. Sorry, not this one. You can see the female 2, right? So has 5 observations. So this is the produced by the where statement. This is female 1 has 5 observations created by this if statement. Okay, so this is an example that both if and where statement can be used interchangeably. Okay. Notice, so here, so we have two conditions, right? And so then we use AND to connect them. So and the SAS will only keep observations satisfy both conditions. Sometimes, so people may want to write multiple statements. But if you use multiple statements, so you need to be very careful. So here you can see I have 2 where statement and 2 if statement. So then in this case, okay, so there exists a huge difference between where and if statements. So generally, if you want to use a where statement, so you can only use one where statement. So like here, so if you have 2 where statements, so SAS will automatically ignore the first one. So then this first one, so this will be ignored. So SAS will only apply the second where statement to your code. But for if you write 2 if statement, so that's fine. Basically, it is equivalent to write like you use AND to connect these two conditions. Okay, so then we can check that in SAS. You can see these 2 pieces of code, right? So the difference is, so here we have 2 where statement, but here we have 2 if statement, right? You can see, so if we run this one, maybe I run them together. Okay. Clearly, so the results produced are different, right? Because for the first one, you can see, so we have 12 observations, but for the second one, we have only 5 observations. So if we check the log, so you will see, you can see, So this is the code. So when you submit the code with two where statement, so SAS will say where clause has been replaced. Yeah, so basically the first where clause has been replaced by the second one. You can see, look at here, so only 12 observations read, right? So basically where height greater than 62. So the second condition is applied. Yeah, but the first where statement has been ignored. But for the second piece, I mean, so if we use two if statement, so this works as what we expected. Yeah, so it is the same as you apply both condition together. Okay. Of course, so it happens. I mean, so you may want to use both where and if statement. So this also works, right? Yeah, so this is equivalent to you use two if statement. Yeah, because in this case, so this where is equivalent to if, right? So this works as if you use two if statements. Yeah. So if you run the code like this guy, you can see, right? So only 5 observations. It only include females so who are taller than 62 inches. Okay, yeah, so this is the first difference between where and if. So you can use multiple if statement, yeah, but you can only use one where statement, yeah, because for where statement, so the last, I mean, only the last one will be applied to basically to your data. Okay. There are some scenarios, I mean, some operators are only applicable for where statements. Yeah, so for example, so if you want to select students so who are taller than 57 inches and shorter than 66 inches, yeah, so you can use the between and. So this is a very convenient operator, so can be used basically to specify a condition, right? So you say where height between these two numbers. Okay, yeah, and similarly, so another one is contains. Yeah, so this is between and, so is applicable to a numerical variable. Contains, yeah, so this is applicable to character variable. Contains, so just means if the variable so contains this character, so capital A followed by an L. Yeah, so that's yeah. And so in these two scenarios, so we can only use where statement. Yeah, so if you use if, yeah, so then SAS will report an error. Okay, so let's check that. You can see. So this is how the scenario we use where, right? I mean, use a between and. If you run that one, you can see, so only 11 observations selected, right? So those are all students whose height fall in 57 and 66. Yeah, so you check the log window, so everything looks fine, right? You can see, right? So this between and so has been automatically replaced to be height greater than this number and height smaller than this number. So if you use if you change this to if you run that again, you can see the SAS the log window shows, see, basically shows error. Yeah, so so for if statement, if does not, I mean, cannot be used with a between and operator. Okay. In this case, of course, I mean, you can use a if statement, yeah, but you need to write your code in a different way. So so this is the, I mean, equivalent way if you want to use if statement, right? So you have to write, I mean, basically to avoid between and, right? So you must explicitly say, so height greater than 57 and height smaller than 66, right? Yeah, so see if you run this one, okay, so 11 observations, right? If you check the log window, so everything looks fine, okay. Yeah, and so then this is an example for contains. Yeah, so contains, the name contains A and L, right? So if you run this one, you can see so only 2 observations selected. Yeah, so we only pick Alfred and Alice, right? Yeah, and so if you change this to if, yeah, so then SAS will show error. This fine, you can see, yeah, see. Yeah, so SAS show error, right? Yeah, because if statement cannot be used with contains operator. Okay. Yeah, but if you for this case, the equivalent way to write the code is so if you need to use the function find, right? So this function find, so basically want to find so whether this variable contains this character string. So if it can find this character string, so then the value returned will be a positive integer. Yeah, just indicate the position of this character. So if SAS cannot find this character, so then the value returned will be 0, right? So basically, so if if this value, if this function return a positive number, yeah, so means this variable contains the AL, contains this character string. Okay, yeah, so we run it. So now it works, right? You can check that. See, there's no error message. Yeah, so it works. Okay. If statement can only be used in data step. Yeah, but where statement can be used in both data step and procedure step, proc step, right? So for example, like here, yeah, so if you proc means, so it's used to compute some summary statistics, right? So here we want to compute summary statistics for height and weight. So when you use the where statement, so basically SAS just will automatically just create a subset, right? So basically, so these summary statistics will only be applied to observations, so whose sex is M, right? Yeah, you can see. So we can run that. See, so those only applies to n observations. So only 10 observations are used to compute those mean and standard deviation or those summary statistics. Yeah, because we have only 10 females. So if you check the log window, you can see, yeah, so the where statement is applied, right? And so if here, so if you use if statement, so then SAS will show error, right? Yeah, because so if statement can only be used in data step, but not proc step. Okay. Another difference is so where can also be used as a data option. See, this is a while statement, right? So see, for statement, so this is just one sentence, right? So and end with this semicolon. For option, so we use a parenthesis to include while equal something, equal condition, right? So this is just followed immediately after the name of the dataset. Yeah, so this is a while option. So this is only this is also the case that we can only use a where, yeah, but we cannot use if. This piece of code to compute some summary statistics only for male. Yeah, so use a while option is equivalent to this while statement, right? So we can check the code here, see, like that. Yeah, see, 10 observations, right? So we only compute those for males. Yeah, so if you change this to if, yeah, so then SAS will show error. Yeah, you can see, yeah, so invalid option. Okay. Yeah. So this is another example that we use a while option, right? This is equivalent to say, of course, so equivalently, so you can write the while statement as the sex equal to male. This is also okay. So this is we write it as a while statement. Yeah, but this example just show it as a while option. Yeah, so then we just only process the males, and so then we define a new variable called BMI, right? Yeah. So this works. Okay. Yeah. But if you use the if you change this to if, and so then SAS will show error, right? You can see, so SAS will show error. If you want to use if, of course, so then you can do it like that, right? Yeah, so then you can just use a if statement. This works, okay? Yeah, so this works. Okay, yes, you can see, so no error message, right? So it works. Okay. We showed I showed you some examples for where and if statements. Yeah, but here, so I want to explain in more detail. So what cause the difference? Suppose generally, so you can write your code in this way. So suppose you just want to create a data set. Let's call it output data set. So suppose we start from a input dataset, right? So then you may have some more SAS statement here. So you may have where and if statement. Okay. So this diagram just shows so how the SAS process those statements. What to do is see every time so SAS will read one observations from the input statement. You can see so where a statement is applied here. Yeah, just in the very beginning, okay. So then the SAS, data will be read into a buffer and will be processed in this PDV. PDV is the program data vector. Yeah, so you can just think so this just as the place SAS will process. So all the statement you included in the data step, okay. Yeah, so after that, so your observations will be written to output dataset. You can see, so the if statement is applied here. Yeah, so basically, where statement is applied before data enters the buffer, and so if statement are applied after the data enters the program data vector. Yeah, so one applied before, one applied after. Okay. Yeah, just because of this reason, so usually so a where statement are slightly faster than the equivalent if statement. If you are not working with a very large dataset, so you will not notice the difference. Yeah, but if you are working with a huge dataset, for huge, I mean if the size of the data is over 100 megabyte or maybe even gigabyte. Yeah, so at that time, so you may notice the difference. Yeah, so otherwise, so you will not, you may not notice the difference. Okay. Yeah, and so just because of this difference, and so then it will cause more difference between where and if statements. So let's show you more examples. So those are scenarios that we can only use if statement. You can see for here. This is just how we first you ignore the if, right? So this is just how we create a new data set, right? So we create a data set called exam, okay? So the input statement just lists the name of the variables we want to create, okay? And so then we will, after data lines, so we just copy paste our data, right? Yeah, so this just create a data set. Of course, so the raw data set, so we have 4 observations. Yeah, but after you include the if sex equals female, right? So then in the end, so SAS will only include basically 2 observations in the output. So this is the place we have to use if statement. Okay. So why? Because as we said, see, so all those statements, so all other statements will be processed here in the PDV, right? So basically, this also includes the input statement. Yeah. So if you use a where statement, so then SAS will probably, so let's run this first. Okay, yeah, so run this first. So this is the correct way. You can see it works, right? So we in the end, so we have only 2 observations. Okay, yeah, so no error message, right? Yeah, but if you change this to where, run this one, see, no input dataset available for where statement. Yeah, because this statement is processed in the program, what is called, is a PDV, a program data vector, right? Yeah, because where is applied before the if statement. So basically, so SAS is not able to see this sex variable. I mean, SAS has not seen this variable yet. Yeah, so basically this variable does not exist to this where statement. Yeah, so this is why, so SAS will report an error. Yeah, so this also applies, and if you create some new variable, like here, see for example, so this is, you start from the SAS help.class. So this is the dataset we used before, right? So then you define a new variable, so called BMI, right? So this is computed based on the height and weight. So then you can use if to create a subset just using this BMI, right? So just save observations whose BMI is small. Yeah, so but here, so you cannot use a while statement. See, if you use if statement, run like that, so SAS works, so no error message, right? Yeah, but if you change this to where, you run this one, see, variable BMI is not on file. Yeah, because as we explained, so BMI, so this new variable is defined in the program vector, program data vector, right? Basically, so this variable is created after. Yeah, so let's look at this diagram. Yeah, see, basically this BMI is created in this program data vector in this step. I mean, so in this part, so where is applied here, right? So basically, the variable created here is not visible to where. Yeah, so basically, so this is why, so SAS say variable, this one is not in this input dataset. So basically, if you want to use the where statement, yeah, so the variable has to exist in this input dataset. So cannot be a newly created variable, right? Yeah, so those are the 2 scenarios we have to use if statement, right? So this is with a newly created variable or with this input statement. Okay, so this is another example, because when you write the program, so that you may use some automatic or temporary variable. Yeah, so such as this n, this just indicate basically the which observations you are processing, right? So this by and last. So if you have a by statement, right, so SAS will automatically create this by and last. Okay, so in this case, you must use if statement. Yeah, so the reason is similar, because so those variables only exist in this program data vector. Yeah, so those variables are not visible to where. Yeah, and so you can only use if statement. So look at this piece of code. Yeah, so first we sort data according to sex and height, right? So then basically, then we have a if first dot sex. So basically, we just want to pick out the tallest student for male and for female, right? Yeah, so if we run this one, So basically we just just get the tallest male and the tallest female. Yeah, so you look at the log file, so everything looks fine. But if you change this to where, right, so then SAS will show error. Right. Yeah, because so this automatic variable, so is not visible to where. Okay. Next example. So this is the example that we can use if and we can also use where, but however, so they will produce a different result. Let's see. Let's first run those the code. Okay. Basically, I first print the original data, right? So then look at here. So then set SAS help.class. Yeah. So I only want to process 4 observations. Yeah. So then I have a if statement. So here I also want to process 4 observations. Yeah, but I have a where statement. Yeah. So look at here. Let's run the code. So this is original data set. We have 19 observations. So this is the one produced with, I think so, with the if, right? You can see, so we have only 3 observations in the output. Yeah, but this one we have 4 observations. So what's the difference? The difference is, so this if means, so SAS will first subset. This just means, so SAS will first, will only process 4 observations. Maybe we look at here, I think. Yeah, so what does it mean is, see, when you have this says observation equal to 4, right? So basically, so SAS will only process these first 4 observations, right? And so then basically within these 4 observations, so SAS will just check, so which of them are females. Yeah, so the first one is not female, so ignored, right? So then in the resulting data set, we have only these 3 observations left, right? So this is what we see in this output. But if you use where, okay, if you use where, that will be different. So basically, so SAS will just will process 4 observations satisfying this condition, right? So what I mean is, see, SAS will first, well, the first observation, so this is a male. Well, so SAS will ignore that. So then SAS will continue to the second one. So this is a female, a female. So this is a male. SAS will automatically ignore it. Okay, so then female, then this is another female, right? So basically, so SAS will make sure we have 4 observations satisfying this condition, right? Yeah, so then this is in the output, you can see. Yeah, so we have Alice, we have Barbara, we have Carol, we have Jane, right? Yeah, so those are just exactly these 4 observations. Okay. Yeah, maybe let's read the text again. So when this OBS option is used with if statement, so SAS first subset the dataset based on the number of observations in the OBS option, and then applies the if subset condition, right? Yeah, so basically, so SAS will only process 4 observations, and so then the if statement is applied to that 4 observations. Yeah, but if when OBS option is used with the where statement, yeah, so SAS will first apply the subset condition, right? Just to make sure, so SAS, we will process for 4 observations. 4 observations satisfy those conditions. Yeah, so this is why if you use this one, basically 4 observations, so in the resulting data set. Okay. I will show another example that if and where statement works, but they will produce different result. Yeah, so this is when we want to merge 2 data set. So this is a case. Just consider, so we have this two data set. So one called school A, one called school B. Each of them, so we have 3 students and 3 variables, right? So name, class, and score. Okay. So now we just want to merge these 2 data set by name. Yeah, just by name. Okay. So this is a by name. Yeah. So the first one we use the where score equals to 10, and so the next one is the we use if, right? So let's run the code, and so then you will see the difference. So first I just load the data, school A and school B. You can see we have 3 observations from each. But if you want to use merge differently, so the first one we use where statement, the next one we use if. You can see, so the results are different. Yeah. So let's explain. So basically what you need to keep in mind is, so the where statement is applied before merging, and so if statement is applied after merging. Okay. So let's try to see how where statement works. So the where statement works because it says where score equal to 10, right? Essentially just because these 3 of them satisfy the condition, this satisfies the condition, right? Okay. So then when we merge the data, SAS will first read 1 row from here. We will have A, math, and 10. Then we have B, history, and 10. We have C. Oh, sorry. I think I should no. I should let me start again. So basically, I think so SAS will read 1 observations from each of the data set, right? So basically, so SAS just figure out. So in the output data set, so then we have name, we will have class, and we have score. So 3 variables, right? So then for SAS read the first observations. In the first one, we will have A, we have math, we have 10. So then from the next one, we read A and A match. Okay, so then this math will override this math, this 10 will override this 10. Okay, so then SAS will read B, history, 10. No match here, and so then this stays, right? So then we have C, then we have science, and we have 10, right? I think so this is just the output here. Okay. But how about if we use if? So if is applied after merge, right? So what I mean is we will have name, we have class, we have score. So first SAS will read 1 row from the school A. We have math, we have 10. Then SAS will read 1 row from here, A, math, 10. So basically will overwrite those. Okay, so then SAS read the second row here. We have B, we have history, we have 10. So then SAS read the second observation from the second data set. So we have B will overwrite B, history overwrite history. So then we have 8 will overwrite this 10, right? So then we will have read the third observation. We have C, we have science, we have 10. Then from the second data set, so in the third row, so C will override this C, science override science, so this 7 will override this 7. So this is a result of, if we merge two data sets. So then we apply if. Then we apply if to this data set. See, only this first row satisfies score equal to 10, right? So then in the resulting data set, we have only this one saved. So this is why we have only this guy. Okay, right? So this is the difference. Well, so as a summary, so of course, so in some scenarios, so where and if statements can be used interchangeably. But sometimes, so only where statement works. So for example, so certain special operator only works in where statements, so such as between and contains. And so we in a procedure, so we can only use where statement, right? And so we can also use where as a data option. Okay. And so there are also some scenario we can only use the if statement. So for example, so you want to process, if the condition involves a variable in an input statement, or the condition so involves a newly created variable, or maybe automatic or temporary variable. So in those scenarios, we can only use if statements. And so sometimes, so the both statement works, but produce different results. So you need to be very careful. So here we just show some examples, right? Okay, so for example, so if you have multiple while or if statements, so the mechanisms will be different. So you can only use one while statement. But you can use multiple if statements. And so if you want to use the data option such as OBS, right? So you need to be careful. So the if and the where statement may produce different results. Or if you want to merge dataset, so they may produce different results. Okay. And so the last comment is, so make sure to read SAS log files. So even if SAS seems run without any error, because if the result is not what you expected, right? So read the SAS log file will help you identify so what's the reason for that. Okay.